Welcome to Homeschooling for Spirituality. The Flow is a delightful mix of insight, divine inspiration, and humor, where wisdom meets earthiness to help your ongoing spiritual growth and transformation. Follow the flow of enlightenment and explore everything spiritual through the deepest self-inquiry, as student Lisa Berry asks Master Spiritual Teacher G.P. Walsh the kinds of questions you would ask an elder, a wise man, or a sage, and receive direct, simple, comprehensive, and deeply human lessons and teachings. From transcending the experience of separation, releasing old conditioned patterns and wounds, and alleviating suffering, to demystifying esoteric practices and revealing one's true purpose and innate freedom. Welcome to the Flow of Enlightenment. Transformation is all there is.
It's always such a lovely start. We get the Om and then all those words. Hi, GP.
Hi, Lisa.
Today I am beginning the show with something I don't normally do, but this one I really had to because I think it really calls in like everybody on the planet. So I'm gonna read this little part. You know what? We talk a lot about different types of creation and the self-inquiry journey along creation and how it connects. But my question always is, and I love this one, how many attempts have we all, failed at while trying to create the life we want? Like, there's just countless. and
Yes.
Moving into, many people are desperately trying to upgrade their lives to overcome fear, lack, and a sense of discontent. We all want to live in a different creation, but the missing ingredients, I love that you said this, it's not intelligence, creativity, or a willing heart. The problem is that we do not understand the nature of creation, and thus all of our attempts to create will inevitably fail. And GP, when you wrote that, I thought, well, wait a second, nature of creation? Okay, this is a whole new ball game. What are we doing here? So can we just start with talking about, it's not intelligence, it's not creativity or a willing heart, which is where we all begin from. So why are we all starting from the wrong starting line?
Well, we think we're the creator. It's that simple. And that, of course, is the foundation of the whole, metaphysics, the positive psychology, the law of attraction, and all of that. I'm a co-creator with the universe.
Right.
There's the first flaw right there. First off, so the universe exists everywhere except here. Anytime I talk about the universe as if it's this external thing, I've, in my mind, unwittingly made myself separate from it. So people say, okay, I want to manifest something. Where did the thought I want to manifest something come from? Did you create that?
I think we do.
We think of what we think of as creation is the appearance in the world of something, some solid form. And we don't recognize that that is the last step in the process. That's the very last thing that happens. By the time that happens, if you really understand creation, you are so already completely immersed in what you are that the appearance of that is a non-event. If I'm already completely immersed in the truth that I am completely whole, and complete in every single way, how in the world could the appearance of anything make me more than that? How can you be more than perfect? How can you be more than infinite? It's a fundamental misunderstanding that creates me as a personal creator struggling to make something happen. And whether that be through, trying to do a visualization of the law of attraction, whether it's trying to do it through politics, whether it's kind of the massive action success principles approach, at the heart of it is this sense of me as the personal creator of things. And most importantly, unless I make it manifest in the world, I don't have it. Therefore, the entire time I'm trying to do that, I'm suffering from the feeling of lack.
Okay, I'm going to repeat that. Unless I make it manifest in this world, then I don't have it. Okay. And then there's suffering because of it. I don't
Well,
have
right,
it.
because the sense of lack or incompleteness is suffering. That's the
Yes.
discontent.
Okay, let's turn this to something that I think, a lot of people in my world, definitely, as a nutritionist and health and wellness person, a lot of people, so they want to, they want to create the body. That's very material, like it's matter, the want. And so they think they can create it. So they think, and I love that you said it's the last step. So you may not even, we do create it, but it's not the, okay, I got to go backwards. Okay, so I want a six pack. Okay, so I'm going to create my diet, my, all this around it.
And you're not talking about a six pack of beer, right?
Some people, I'm sure,
that's
want
easy to get.
Yes. But so they think, okay, I can create this body. That's a lot of advertising says that. Create the body of your dreams, you know. And so because automatically we think we don't have that body, that look, that whatever, that strength.
Yes.
But we do. We do. Is that correct?
Well, again, what do you actually, what is something like that? What's the construction? Let's deconstruct that whole thing.
Yeah.
I want this body, right?
Okay.
Which, without you saying it out loud, means I don't want this body, right?
Right.
So right at that moment, you have started from the place of discontent and lack, and then seeking some external circumstance that is going to take your discontent and turn it into happiness. And of course, if that were actually the case, I would be completely supportive of the idea. Yes, do everything you can to get it, because only then will you be happy. But I know from direct experience, and also from the teachings of every master throughout history, that's a mirage. You're never ever going to find happiness there. And so what it becomes is this constant comparing myself in my current experience with what I believe to be a better experience that would be in the future, or a better experience that was in the past. And the moment I do that, this moment is not okay, and I am not happy. And where else are you going to experience happiness if not now? You know, when Alice in Wonderland was at the tea party, Alice was with the Mad Hatter and the March Hare, and doing their thing, and she asks the Mad Hatter, do you have any jam? Because they're having tea and biscuits, right? Do you have jam? And he says, oh, jam yesterday and jam tomorrow, but no jam today. This is the way we live. And let's face it, when it's talking about the body, especially for women, the advertising industry wants you to hate your body. So they show you these impossibly perfect bodies. I actually did a contract when I was doing computer systems for large corporations. One of my contracts was Victoria's Secret. So I saw all yeah, that was a tough gig. I saw all the before and after pictures, right? And yes, these were attractive women, but they were not perfect. As you watch how they blotch out every little blotch and any little thing that didn't roll the right way, they became completely unreal. The image that was presented simply does not exist in any kind of experience anyone has. But when it's pounded into people that this is what you're supposed to look like, what happens? You hate yourself, you hate the way you look, and you start grasping for anything that will make you feel whole. And of course, they're right there with all the shit they have to sell to convincing you that this is what you need. And this is the carrot in front of the donkey. It's the mirage. It doesn't matter how fast you run or how far or how long, that mirage stays exactly the same distance away. This is what we have to come to see. What we see as creation is manifestation. Most people don't even know what that word means. Manifestation it's an appearance of something else. It's not the thing. It's an appearance of something else. It's how the actual thing appears. Right? I mean, we don't see the atoms, in wherever you're looking at right now in front of you, maybe the computer or your desk or something. We don't see the atoms. We see a desk. But the desk is only an appearance of the atoms. It's almost completely empty space, but we think of it as this desk. It's not. You keep breaking it down, and what you find is this incredible emptiness. Our world, as we see it, is a manifestation of an unseen world. If you connect with that unseen world, you find the secret of creation. But when you do that, you actually harmonize with the nature of things itself. The will to make something different disappears because you're sitting right at the mother lode. You're right at the source of everything. Why in the world would you need anything else? You don't. And then you actually learn how this whole thing works. From the essential to the appearance of it, from the universal to the particular. And then you don't see creation as an act of will or an act of God. You see it as an ever-happening moment in the now. There's no point in time at which it started, no point at which it ends. It's forever happening. Like in the movie theater, when you see the picture on the screen, the only reason that picture is on the screen is because that image passed in front of the projector in that moment. Instantaneous. The idea of the continuity of time, that's all in our minds. The story happens in our minds. The actual thing that's happening is a constant regeneration of that image. Like the computer screen is, even if there's a static screen, a picture on your screen, like your wallpaper, it's not moving. Mm-hmm. That picture looks like it's not moving, but it's actually being refreshed 60 times a second. Those little lights are going on and off 60 times a second to give the illusion of something there that is static and stable. This is the nature of reality.
I find it interesting that you use the desk first, which is a thing, and then the movie. And by the way, I had to say, I had to watch. We're a little worried there that you're going to put me out of business. When you were telling me in the beginning, I thought, I better watch my questions here. I'm going to ask the nutritionist. I'm out. But I was thinking about, how when you said desk, because I am looking at a desk in front of me, and I'm thinking how some people may love the color of this desk or the shape of this desk or whatever not, and somebody may hate it going, no, that wouldn't work for me at all, and I don't like the color. Yep. But then they may like it 5 years from now because it's our I'm going to say judgments. It's our emotions, our experience, it's our relationship to it of how we are perceiving it.
Yes, it's all that there is. That's all there is.
Okay.
Everything is the relationship you establish with it. In one moment, at one time you were playing with trucks or dolls or something like that, right?
Right.
You don't anymore. I don't play with trucks anymore.
Aw. No, I got it.
Yeah, right? The relationship to them has changed. Yes. The truck hasn't changed, but its meaning has completely changed. So
right.
My experience of it is this constantly shifting kaleidoscope of just color, basically light.
Yes. And so say we're going something hardcore, like something we don't, no, because some people are really, they look at their illness or something that, not their illness, sorry, an illness that, they're experiencing. And you're not saying I guess what we're talking about is it's our relationship to what do we think about having cancer? What do we think about having a sore foot? What do we think? And then it's not that just because we like it, it's going to go away. It's that we aren't suffering because we have it.
That's the bottom line. Yes. The suffering is all caused by our attitude towards it and our relationship that we create with it. And it has been demonstrated that when that attitude shifts, illnesses often go into remission. Now, I don't promote that as an absolute thing because, I'm not a doctor and it get me in a lot of trouble. But
yes.
It has been
You'll be out of business too.
Yeah, it's been documented to be true, right, that this does happen. And then, of course, people want to go right, like everything else, they want to go right for the end game, that final manifestation. Right, because every illness is a manifestation of layers and layers of stuff that's sitting underneath. And if there's no willingness to do the inner work to get at the source that has finally manifested itself, then you're just really stuck in the same old material model that the only thing that matters is the end result. And the end result is always the result of a million little things happening. I mean, look at all the things that went into making this moment happen. We're sitting here talking.
Yeah.
And people are listening, and we're going through a radio station. We're on opposite sides of the country. Our listeners are all over the world. Look at everything that had to come to be in order for us to be sitting here having this conversation, including, Christopher in the control room and all of that stuff, and the invention of the internet and the invention of copper, or the mining of copper that made for the wires, and then fiber. I mean, it is absolutely staggering when you see all the things that come together that make this moment happen. What in the world makes you think you could create that?
Right. Yes, I get that. And is it foolish to think, and I am being a little harsh there, but is it foolish to think that it would have happened no matter what? So the headset from my friend who gave this to me, if she didn't give it to me, I would have found another headset. But are we foolish to think that no, it would have happened anyways, or foolish to think that we could have controlled how it happened?
We can't control how it happens, no. If you try to control how it happens, you just get completely wrapped around the axle. Because you believe somehow that your mind, which can only see a tiny fraction of what exists, and can only deal with an even smaller amount of what exists, and can only make sense of an even smaller amount of that somehow that can control the spontaneous act of creation that is the entire universe simultaneously. This moment is the way it is because the universe is the way it is. That's creation. Creation is what appears. The reality of creation is the invisible underlying substratum, which is the self.
I love that. Let's go on that note. Creation is what appears. So everybody, we're going to go to commercial break, but when we come back, if you have a question, you can call in and ask GP live yourself. I'll share the number again when we get back, or I'll say it really fast now as well, but 202-570-7057. So call in with your questions on creation. Oh, that was fun to say.
The Real Conscious Connection. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM. OMTimes Magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. OMTimes, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle.
My name is Victor Furman. Some call me the Voice. I've always been fascinated with human nature, spirituality, science, and the crossroads at which they meet. Join me Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern on OMTimes Radio, and we'll explore these topics and so much more on Destination Unlimited.
Touch, move, and inspire. Sharing your story of how you overcame your deepest struggle will serve as someone else's survival guide. You are ready to get the book out of your head and onto the page. I'm Jocelyn Bellows, host of Breakdown to Wake Up, a live stream show dedicated to sharing personal journeys of men and women who have traversed through mazes of uncertainty, dark clouds, and dishonoring themselves, and the lessons they have learned along this path of what one can accomplish in our own self-discovery. And as a writing and life coach, I work with men and women to break through the BS of their lives to find their own voice and leaping into a life they love. It is my belief that when we share our stories of how we overcame what we have been through, it will serve as someone else's survival guide. So if you're ready to get the book out of your head and onto the page, I'd love to hear from you. Go to www.jocelynbellows.com and join me every Tuesday at noon Eastern and Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern.
If I could be you,
and you could be me,
for just 1 hour.
If you could find a way
to get inside
each other's mind.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
We've all felt left out. And for some, that feeling lasts more than a moment. We can change that. Learn how at belongingbeginswithus.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
back, everybody. I just had an aha moment on that last note of that commercial with this topic. I'll share with everybody. You are here with GP Walsh and myself, Lisa Berry, on the Flow of Enlightenment, and we welcome questions during our shows. Live on air. You can always email them ahead of time, which is questions with an S at gpwalsh.com, or call in. And so we'll put the phone number out here again, which is 202-570-7057. And GP, it's funny, as we heard that beautiful harmonizing note on that Walk a Mile in My Shoes commercial, I recall how you often say that we're here to harmonize with the world. And my question was going to be, are we at least participating in creation if we're not the creator ourselves or co-creating? Are we harmonizing?
In a sense, I mean, our perceptions shape how we see things, right? Creation is what it is, right? Reality is doing what reality does. Your personal experience of it will either be in harmony with it or antagonistic to it. If this moment isn't okay, and you're always comparing it to another moment, well, you're simply not accepting things as they are. You're not seeing things as they are. And so from the point of view of my personal experience, that is going to be shaped by my perceptions, what I believe to be true, what matters to me, what I assume is so, my view of life, my view of myself, all of that shapes what we actually perceive. It becomes my personal experience of reality. If I actually experience reality as it is, it's blissful. If I don't, I create my world. As my teacher Muji says, there's one earth, there's 8 billion worlds. You literally create the world in which you are walking. It's a creation of your mind. It isn't the reality of what is actually here. It is a reduced, it's kind of a diluted version of it that passes through many, 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 many filters before it finally, you say, this is my reality. Well, it isn't reality. It is only your set of perceptions. So you are interpreting everything you are experiencing from a particular point of view. If that point of view shifts, your experience shifts. But reality doesn't change. That's the constant. And so it is about harmonizing with the actual nature of reality, which takes off all the, drops the scales from your eyes, clears the clouds away, so you begin to see things as they really are. And as they really are, it's blissful, it's perfect, it's infinite, it's boundless, it's timeless, it's abundant, it's whole, it's pure love. But we don't see that. But that's reality. That's what's actually here. And that's the kind of thing, reality does not get created. Reality simply manifests itself constantly in a never-ending kaleidoscope of form. How we interpret that form becomes what we would call our reality. So you're not a creator of reality, you're not a co-creator of reality. You're simply shaping your experience based on your own belief system and your sense of identity.
Ooh. Aha, you just use a lot of key words in there, GP. because I happen to know your 4 powers of creation. And I think you just named them all in there. And that's what I was hoping to get, in this show, at least do a small introduction. But just before that, it's very interesting as I hear you saying that. And we all know I'm a huge animal lover, not just cats, but just I love every little creature so much. And yesterday, I just learned that our neighbors had to put down their 11-year-old dog, sweet dog. And of course I was sad. Of course I was shocked. Of course, I'm feeling for them. But there was this kind of beauty to it at the moment, too, because I thought, well, the little dog came down and did what she did. And now she's doing something else. And she's being something else. And not for lack of, the family and their grieving, but it was a different lens. It was a more blissful, not just accepting like, well, yeah, I understand life happens. It was more really quite a bit of peace with it. And is that how we know we're kind of...
Yes, that's how you know.
Okay.
Yeah. Peace, bliss, stillness, complete and total harmony, no resistance to life as it is. And of course, that's the function of life. We die all the time. You could think of the 10-year-old version of you that was all there was to you at the time is now dead. That one doesn't exist anymore. Right. You yourself have transformed into something else. At the end of the particular functioning of a body, you continue, you go on, but not as that. That car's worn out, right? You've exhausted what it can do, and it's time to move on. And yes, there's a feeling of nostalgia, there's a feeling of grief about the letting go, but if there's no resistance to any of that, it will be incredibly peaceful and even joyous, because this is what is. And you can't possibly go wrong if you've harmonized with what reality is.
Yes. And so when you, to harmonize with that, because I certainly, yes, okay, there's my shining moment of, yay, I was, at peace, but then a next moment I'm not, with something different. Mm-hmm. So definitely human here. But it's along that way, there are some things that you've helped in your course. It's actually going to be teaching a masterclass coming up on the 21st of April. Your 4 amazing powers of creation, and yes. I found that interesting. So I thought, wait a second, are they my powers? Am I creating? So hold on a second. So I had to unwrap that for a second. If they're my powers, it's because creation is what is appearing, but it's up to me who gets to see it.
Correct. And you're the vehicle through which it happens, but you are not the cause of it.
Right.
You're the witness to it. Look around. Look around. Life is happening. Right?
Yes.
You didn't cause any of it. Your breakfast this morning, you did not intentionally digest it. You didn't sit there and go, okay, I've got to digest my food now. Sorry, I can't go out tonight. I'm digesting food or growing hair. Right.
Right.
Oh, God, I got to grow my hair tonight. But again, life is happening as it was meant to happen, as it's supposed to happen. And it's only the silliness, our ignorance of the egoic mind that says it should be different than it is. You take that out of the equation and you become the pure witness of the ever-happening creation that is forever going on. It never stops. You didn't make it happen any more than you make your stomach digest. It's just happening, and you're the witness of it. That's a completely different relationship to it. But the only way you can experience that peace about it is to drop all ideas as to what it should be.
Yeah. Oh, GP, that people, I know that's where a lot of us get stuck on. It's like we think, but wait, I can make more money if I, change my job, sold some things. I can be healthier if I can choose my food and my diet. I can choose my health if I, stop this poison and that poison and sleep better. And it really doesn't all matter.
Yeah, but where did that insight come from? Did you make that up?
No, I was definitely taught that.
The insight that says, oh, this is a better choice than that. It's the power of discrimination. That's the 4th superpower. The 4th of your amazing powers. It's the ability to tell the difference. And where did that come from? Did you invent that? Can you take credit for that? Or is that too an absolute natural unfolding of wisdom that is the destiny of every human being?
Okay. Actually, so let's back up. Let's actually name the 4. Okay, I'll have you name the 4 powers. Everybody has these of creation, and then we'll break them down a smidgy, just as an intro.
Okay, a smidgy. That's a formal unit of measurement. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's less than a scooch.
Yes. It's just enough.
But more than a wee bit.
Yes.
Well, the 4 powers are attention, belief, identity, and discrimination. Okay. Those shape perception. Perception is what you experience as creation. That is the world that completely creates the world that you experience. Not reality, but your perception of it. And the fact of the matter is there is no difference between the world out there and your perception of it. It does not exist independently from it. That is your world. Wherever your attention goes, it automatically amplifies what it sees. It filters out. It has to, because attention just can't sit back and take it all in. Right? It's very, very focused. It's like a flashlight in a room. What dictates where your attention is going to go? Well, that's your beliefs. What you believe will completely determine what gets your attention and what doesn't. What's important to you and what isn't. And whatever's important, that's where your attention is going to go to.
Yes.
Now, the one belief, the essential belief around which all of your other beliefs orbit, is your identity, how you see yourself. The beliefs you hold about yourself determine absolutely everything else, which means the belief you hold about yourself is literally controlling every place your attention goes. And so what you see is yourself everywhere. Now, attention, belief, and identity are all basically conditioned patterns. Notice, a belief cannot measure or determine whether it's true or not.
Right.
The attention just goes where it's pointed. It does not make any kind of value judgment about where it goes. Neither does belief. Belief is just the belief. Your identity being a belief, it too cannot assess its own quality. They're blind. We would be completely lost in these three if we didn't have this other power. That's why I refer to it as a superpower. And that's the power to discriminate. That inner wisdom where you just know this is better than that. Eating this food is better for me than that food. Whereas from the point of view of all the rest of it, when you're blind to that, you're just doing what you were programmed to do, period.
Okay.
That's it. Something has to intervene and say, guess what? This is better than this, and that's not an opinion.
Okay.
This is an actual truth. This is a genuine distinguishing of quality. Right?
Okay.
Whatever the latest, pop star is, Justin Bieber, and compare him to Beethoven, right?
Right.
You may like Justin Bieber better, but the qualitative difference is not an opinion.
Right. Now, preference could be different.
Yes, I can prefer whatever I prefer. I don't listen to Beethoven all the time. Sometimes I'll listen to other stuff.
Right.
Right. It's like there's nothing but, right? And everybody's preferences. But those preferences change over time. They fluctuate.
Yes. That's what
but the discrimination of quality, that doesn't fluctuate.
Right.
That's a perception of an actual truth. And that's why it's such a powerful thing. It is your own inner sense of truth. It's your intuition. It's your sixth sense. We have a bunch of different names for it. But what it is your innate capacity to discern the truth. Without that, we are lost in conditioning. There's no way out.
Discerning is based on our inner sense of truth. It's discernment is always seeking, is guiding you, pointing you to truth, not opinion or beliefs or identity.
Yes. We've all had the experience. You had the aha moment, right?
Yes.
How did you know it was an aha moment?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. Hold on. Let me think. Hold on. Wait. Because it just felt. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, this is true. I know this is true. How do I know? I don't know. I just know it's true. Everybody's had that experience. That's it. That's the discriminating eye. That's the Buddha eye, actually. They refer to it in Buddhism.
So now, interesting, separation is not truth. So if we are looking at our bank accounts or our bodies or our health and we say, I don't like it, I can tell you that I know that doesn't feel good. It feels like I've abandoned myself, like I've judged myself and I'm not good enough. I feel separated. Is that my discernment
of truth coming to tell me, hey, Lisa, you're judging and that's not nice and you've hurt yourself.
Is that a guide?
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, we don't want. I say things like this, and I'll say it on satsang, and I say it on our show and the like, and people kind of jump on. Boy, I've gotten some scathing comments about. What do you mean you can't control it? Right? Yeah, I mean, really nasty. Some really nasty stuff. Which I leave there, I say, unless it's totally offensive to everybody, I don't delete anything. I, let people say whatever they want to say. But we have to realize that this world that you have created in your mind, which is not really the creation at all, is the belief system, the sense of identity, the belief system, creating a focus of attention that makes you think that what you believe is actually true. So now when you start turning your attention inward towards this sense of genuine truth, of real wisdom, of discrimination, you're going to run into these layers and layers and layers of beliefs and ideas and assumptions and things you've been carrying around for a long time that have shaped your experience of reality. And so it's not just an immediate, breaking down of everything. You have to look at what makes this all up. Anybody who's in a position where their health is really deteriorated, right?
Yeah.
Because of the bad decisions that they have made. If you look at it really closely, what it really means is that they have been operating on conditioning. The conditioning had them doing it in a certain way, and they had not yet awakened to their power of discrimination to be able to say, whoa, look what's happening. When that happens, oftentimes you're already so far down the road that it feels like there's no way out. But if it hadn't been for the discrimination, it would have just kept going all the way down to your demise, and then the next life it'd pick itself up and do it again. I mean, this discrimination has to show itself. And then when that happens, it's like turning on the light in a room you haven't been in for 20 years. It's like, whoa, damn.
Yeah.
Ooh, there's rats and dust. And it's like, oh, gee, can I just shut the door again? Well, no, too late.
Yes, it does equal work, is what we're thinking.
Yes, and now it becomes what you could regard as a practice or a process. As Ramana Maharshi says, go back the way you came. You're now going back through all of these layers of conditioning to the original innocence that was there right from the beginning, which is where this discriminating wisdom is leading you. Out of the quagmire of all your beliefs, which have shaped the world and shaped, the essence of our identity, which for most people is based on some degree of self-hatred, back to the original you that once discovered it is so beautiful and so enrapturing that you simply fall in love with yourself.
Oh, I love that. And okay, on that beautiful, poetic, statement, we'll go to commercial. But I would when we come back, we are going to ask GP how we set aside assumptions and find out how we have shaped our world. So come on back, you guys, to the Flow of Enlightenment with GP Walsh and Lisa Berry.
Conscious media for conscious minds. OMTimes.
Ascending Hearts is no ordinary dating site, but a spiritual dating site with a purpose, to link you with your soulmate. We engineer the serendipity so you can trust that you will attune with someone that has the same matching vibration as you. Ascending Hearts, the conscious dating site for the spiritually aware. Try Ascending Hearts for free. AscendingHearts.com.
Hello, I'm Sandy Sedgbeer, host of OMTimes magazine's flagship radio show, What is Going On? My passion is sifting through information, research, and innovations from new thought teachers, speakers, and researchers pushing back the boundaries of what we know about life, energy, metaphysics, and the universe. I love shifting perceptions about who we are, why we're here, and how quickly impossible becomes normal when we open our minds, expand our awareness, and accept that the only limits that exist are those we place upon ourselves. So if you're the kind of forward-thinking, eager investigator of what lies beyond the current reality that most perceive, why not make a date to come play with me in the field of possibilities at 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time every Thursday, and together we can discover what's really going on.
Coping 19, brought to you by CDC and the Ad Council.
If you're feeling increasingly lonely right now, you're not alone. It's totally normal. Even though we may not be able to get together in person, connecting virtually with friends and family still gives you a chance to interact with people and may help raise your spirits. Join a virtual book club, set up group text chats, or online video coffee breaks with coworkers.
Find more self-care and coping tips at coping-19.org.
Right. A little housekeeping, I think, would be in order here. Talking about that, opening that room to that thing. We do have quite a few things going on, GP, so I want to do some invitations. And first and foremost, we'd love to hear from you, and we'd love to be able to have you receive, what we're sharing, which is called the Light Letter. Yay! Instead of newsletter. But so come on over to gpwalsh.com where you can sign up for the Light Letter. Also, when I still believe this is up, we were getting some feedback too. Once you do sign up for the Light Letter on gpwalsh.com, you will receive a free copy of a PDF, which is called Angels in the Basement. And we're getting so many beautiful things about that. And I'm just going to quickly read one of the, I want to call it a testimonial, but it's not. It was just a comment made, from a lovely Stacy who, and I have to scroll back here a little bit, because she just she's going through a tough time. And so she as she was reading it, she wanted to share this. And she said, because I asked her if she's reading it. And she goes, I'm reading it, yes, and I love it. I have been digesting a lot of things and feel like maybe I need to question more of the things that are being told to me. Not that others are wrong, because it's perception, right? Just not what's right for me. Talk about discrimination there, right? She said, Angels in the Basement has really resonated with me. And okay, so yes, I'll finish my housekeeping, but I wanted to share that with everybody because the Angels in the Basement seem to be a book. It's about exchanging, your truths, so to speak. And it's just, it really helped a lot of people. So that's free. So come on over to gpwalsh.com, get on the Light Letter list, and you'll get that copy. The other thing is, we haven't super launched it, but I might as well do it now that we're on air here. what we're talking about right now is also a course and a masterclass that's involved in there. So it's called Your 4 Powers of Creation, which is what we're talking about. And that is on April 21st. It's a Wednesday. It's at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And what's going to happen, guys, is that you're going to enroll prior to the course, and we'll still let you in. Even if you come late, we'll let you in. But if you could enroll by Sunday at midnight, because there is about 3.5 hours of content, of material that GP's already recorded, that you're going to want to have time to digest this to show up to the masterclass. And that is, oh my gosh, I want to say 186, but I don't remember if it's 189. I think it's 186 US dollars.
189.
It's 189. I had it flipped upside down. All right.
Yes, you did.
So 189 US for that. And guys, this is literally 3.5 hours of pre-recorded stuff. Then the masterclass is another 90 minutes where you're on Zoom, on video with GP. You can interact, ask those questions, and hear other people's questions too, which I always find helpful. And I'll leave it at that for the invitations, except for one thing, which is email us if you do have any questions, and it's questions@gpwalsh.com, and we can address them, whether it's on the radio show or private message, and you can always work one-on-one with GP, which is a treat. I get to do this every Tuesday. So, but, just hearing all of that, about these assumptions. And so I would say that I have a lot of people in my life that would not even entertain the fact that these are assumptions. They are their truths, and they are living by them. You're like, what are you kidding me? Right. These aren't assumptions. So what is an assumption?
Well, an assumption is whatever you, whatever belief you have that you decide is true to the degree that you will not question it, you have an assumption.
Oh, to the degree which you will not question.
And when that happens, they become unconscious. Like, like learning to ride a bike or even speak, right? At first, it took a lot of effort to do it, but then eventually, the nervous system trains itself to do it automatically, and you don't have to think about it anymore. Our beliefs work the same way. You believe it long enough, and it goes underground. It just starts influencing thoughts and actions and behaviors, and you're not even aware that it's there. That's what I call an energetic assumption. It's now not even thoughts anymore, right? And a lot of energetic assumptions start so young in childhood, you don't have thoughts yet. There is no language. They're simply reactive patterns in the body. And later on, as we will acquire ideas as to why we are the way we are. The idea makes sense. You bring it in, you believe it. It can be a religion, it can be science, it can be political, it can be cultural, it can be all sorts of different ways in which we accept this as true. And the moment you no longer question it anymore, it is now an assumption. Because everything has to be questioned. If your life isn't going the way you want it to, it's because of your assumptions. You need to look at what you actually believe to be true. Belief drives attention, right? Yes. And so what is the criteria by which you're even deciding whether it's true or not? This is for me, the criteria has to be, first off, does it create suffering in this moment? Or does it create happiness in this moment? There's your basic yardstick.
Okay, I like that. Oh, that's helpful. Does this, whether it's an assumption or not, hey, let's just call it one, is it providing me a suffering moment or a happy moment?
Yes.
So,
and anything other than the absolute truth is an assumption.
Okay, so light and fluffy moment here. So I based under the assumption, because my mother told me that I have an allergy to penicillin. In the moment, I'm quite happy with, it's bringing me safety. I feel good about it. It's not causing me any harm. But should the time come where I am in some kind of dire straits situation and they're like, all we have is penicillin and you need it, I may want to challenge that assumption because I don't technically. So I took that really light and fluffy to like another degree. But I see what you're saying, that there's going to be a situation where it's going to serve you and make you feel good and safe and happy. And then others where it could prevent you from growing.
Well, yeah, obviously you can make certain assumptions. If I'm, I go to my job in the morning and I have certain things I do and I'm with people that I'm with. And after a while, because they, the job is consistent, the environment's consistent, the people are consistent, you just assume it's going to be that way. And the nervous system adjusts to that as its current experience, and it calls that, this is my current reality. Now, if something changes in that environment, suddenly that assumption is out the window, right? So your whole relationship with things must have the idea that what an assumption is simply the interface I have right now that appears to be working. Mm-hmm. But it's not the truth. Right. It is just, my circumstance right now is consistent enough that I can presume upon it being that way. And then I don't think about it. It's that simple. I don't have to think about it. I'm not, when you first couple of day or week on the job, right? You're hyper alert. You're trying to get the lay of the land, right? Yes. What do I do? Who do I talk to? What am I doing? How am I supposed to be? What's going on, right? But eventually, when you get that all mapped out, it just sinks into your conscious and you kind of just do your thing, right? But what happens then is that the nervous system makes assumptions about this. What the nervous system does is always generalize where what I'm experiencing now becomes the permanent reality. This is reality rather than just a momentary experience that could change at any moment.
Yes.
And so the assumption, if it's relied on as being true, will ultimately bite you in the ass.
And that's the moral of the story. No,
that's the moral of the story. And they all lived happily ever.
Yeah. that little nervous system, that is so interesting because I love how you bring that up. And just when I forget about the nervous system, then you talk about it again. So thank you for that. I get comfortable, and I go, oh, right, that gosh darn nervous system sticking his nose in there again. But yes, and so is it? I'm asking for a judgment, so it's not going to be a good question. But when we do get comfortable and complacent and comfortable, and we're like, no, I don't want to change. I like that I'm comfortable and not on, high alert. Is that good or bad? Yeah, I didn't want to ask that, but I'm asking it. Is it good or bad?
No, it's a great question, because the problem happens then is that these assumptions not only stabilize your interface with the world, but they limit you. You can't go anywhere else because it doesn't want things to change. So all of a sudden, one of the dynamics that can throw a monkey wrench into this whole thing is suddenly you want to have a better job. You want to grow. You want more income. You want more opportunity. That in and of itself, it doesn't have the change. The beauty of being a human being is we're no longer driven completely by external changes in the environment. We're driven by our own desire to grow. And my desire to grow now is in a direct opposition, in direct conflict with my assumption and my desire to stay where I am. Yes. This is the internal conflict that arises. And now you find that this assumption, this interface, this way of being is no longer serving your highest interest. But it is resisting that kind of change. This is where the inner work really, the rubber really meets the road. This is not the work for the faint of heart.
You just said that beautifully. It's no longer serving your highest self. And I literally, I'm outing my dad here. He's gotten to a point where he goes, no, I'm really comfortable. I just want to stay here. I don't want to go there. I only want to go this place because I know where to do that. And some people say he's, stopped living or thing or that, but he does all this other fun stuff. But it's only going to be a problem if he wanted to grow more and his beliefs are now saying, no, but I don't do that.
Yes. And here, this is what's really important, keeping with our theme here about the nature of creation, because that desire to grow, you didn't create. That's inherent, and you can't stop it. And this is the essential conflict between us getting is how we get stuck somewhere, right? And the feeling of stuck is that my environment, which is made up of my attention, my beliefs, and identity, no longer work for what I've actually begun to become. So the reality of you, which is this perpetual growth, now runs smack dab into the beliefs, the identity, and the attention, which assumes things to be the way they are. You did not create the desire to grow. It is inherent in you. So you're not even the cause of that. Even the desire for a better life, you didn't create.
Oh my gosh. That is the most powerful thing right there. And that's why I do know many of those people, and I'm sure I've been there, where when I do have that desire to grow, I think that I've created it so I can control it. And therefore, if it's bumping into, like what you said, my attention, my beliefs, my identity, then now if I don't do anything about it, I'm miserable, like what you said. Yeah. And that's the essential conflict, because you will be miserable because you can't stop it.
Right. Yes.
It's like, it's like the 12-year-old trying to stop puberty. Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, good luck. Oh. Yeah, that would be suffering. That definitely would
Wouldn't
be
it?
Suffering.
Yeah.
Yes. Like you can't stop it from happening. Okay. So these are already, oh my gosh, if you guys could even know, this is so amazing. They really are. That's why you call them the 4 amazing powers. Now I get it.
Yes, they are amazing. Yeah.
It helps everything. There's literally not an area in somebody's life this doesn't touch or help.
It's more than that. It is your life. These 4 things are your life. Every experience you have comes from there.
And this is amazing. It is amazing. So I am going to do my invitation to everybody again. You've got to come to this masterclass and do the course, because I've actually even listened to some of the the intros, and I've talked to you about this, but it does take time. I shouldn't say that. It doesn't just take time. It just takes this weird unconditioning experience to happen, to unfold, and nobody knows how long that actually takes.
Yeah, correct. It's you have to completely relearn everything you've been taught.
Right.
It's
and it's fun, guys.
a completely different interface with the universe.
Yes. Yes, I promise you really will enjoy it. Even you might hate it, but you'll love it. You'll hate it, but it really is, enlightening. So the flow of enlightenment is so true here. So please, everybody, pop on over to gpwalsh.com, get on the light letter, and then we can direct you from there. So whether you want to be a part of this masterclass coming up or many of the other ones that you already have, pre-recorded, ready to go for you guys, there's just so much opportunity to be in this flow. So we do welcome you, and to tune in always, and to also watch GP do his satsongs on Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern to 5 p.m. Eastern. Lots of space there. So, GP, thank you so much for this. This has just been incredible.
Thanks, Lisa. Let's do it again next week. What do you think?
Oh, right. Okay, it's a date. We'll put it on the calendar.
Good.
We'll see you guys then. Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.